Good afternoon, YouTube, and welcome back to Fat Cat Collections. And today I want to share with you guys an amazing fragrance from the House of Zoologist. I want to thank, first off, Victor Wong for his generosity once again. He's sending me some of his newest releases. He sent me the most recent 6. I've reviewed their fragrances in the past, and I gotta tell you, it's one of the most exciting fragrance houses to receive in the mail and get your nose onto, because they're just so different and unique. Now, one thing I always like to mention before I start talking about the fragrances is I tend to gravitate more towards woody fragrances, oud-based, rose-based, fragrances that are in some cases gourmand. I tend to not wear fragrances that are aquatic. So anything that's kind of dark and sophisticated and unique, that's where I kind of gravitate towards. Some examples of that are Dirty Rose Oud by PK Parfums, obviously Zoologist Bat. You have fragrances such as Zaharoff, which is more of a, definitely not as dark as a fragrance like this, but definitely kind of those fragrances that I'm into. Bentley Intense is one I love, Remy Latour Cigar, and these are all over the price points here, but the idea when I wear a fragrance is I want to smell unique. I don't want to smell like anybody else who walks into, you know, a Macy's and buys whatever the girl recommends. Nothing wrong with those fragrances. They have a lot of great fragrances in those places, but I like ones that you're going to get that you know the guy standing next to you or you walk into that bar or restaurant just isn't wearing, because they're that unique. So the one I want to talk about today is called T-Rex. And so you can see they have kind of a humanized animal on the front of the packaging. This is something they do on each one, depending on what animal it is. They have a different presentation. They always share this black and gold color combination. And then on the inside of this, you'll have a write-up about, or a short story about what they're going for with this fragrance. And what I want you guys to do again is, if you want to know more about the fragrance, go to their website and check out the full write-up. It's the full note breakdown. What I want to do is give you guys a note breakdown and tell you guys what I smell, what I think of this fragrance. And you know, fragrances are so subjective. Everybody's going to like something different. It's hard to do a review and have you guys, you know, you can't smell it. You're not here with me smelling this. And I can tell you that this is just radiating right now. This is just one of their most aggressive, sophisticated fragrances that Zoologist has ever come out with. I really think of all the ones they make, it is one of my favorites, if not my favorite. And the reason for that is I love leathery fragrances. And this fragrance is leather, leather, leather. Hence the name Tyrannosaurus Rex. When you think of that animal, that environment, you just think of this aggressive, over-the-top creature, you know, king of the jungle, so to speak, or you know, king of, the, I'm trying to think of something from Jurassic Park again. I can't come up with it, but you get the idea. Just a very tough, in-your-face, aggressive creature that really takes everything out. Just nothing gets in its way, and that's what I get from this fragrance. It's something very weird about the fragrance, too, that it's very nostalgic to me for some reason. It reminds me of something. I just can't place it. And what I want to do is, before I give you the note breakdown, I just want to give it another quick whiff here. So first, right off the bat, again, I get kind of a peppery, there's a blast of pepper in there, and there's definitely, I can pick up that neroli. And a lot of fragrances that have neroli that I've smelled, neroli tends to be something you'll find in a barbershop. But when I associate neroli with any fragrance, I think of, you know, being an old men's barbershop, getting my hair cut, and you know, being sprayed after you get that neck shave. And that's what I get on those top notes there. A peppery, strong neroli. And one thing about neroli, and some of the fragrances that I have smelled, neroli doesn't seem to last. With this, it really seems to be very prevalent and very apparent in those top notes. As far as the other notes you have, and I want to read them all to you, but I have to just kind of refresh myself. There's vanilla, frankincense, leather, and sandalwood. And of the base notes, those are the ones that I really, I can really pinpoint, you know, that I really get from this. When I read those notes and I smell the fragrance, I can definitely say, okay, yeah, I can definitely see where they're going with that. I can smell those notes, where sometimes it's really hard for me anyway to smell a fragrance. It's kind of just, you know, off the top of my head, say, oh, I smell that, I smell this. But with this, without looking at the notes, I would definitely tell you that it had neroli in it, some sort of wood, leather for sure, and just a heavy smoke to it. This, I don't know, when I smell this, the first thing that pops to my mind, I picture like something in the Wild West, a dry environment. I picture just like a old men's bar that you'd walk in with the two swinging gates. There's something very masculine and very manly about this. Just Now, my grandfather never wore fragrances or colognes, but this it seems very dated to me. It really takes me back to almost being a child and walking into maybe an old men's bar, or maybe going somewhere with my grandfather, or reminds me of a place I used to shoot compound bows back in the day called Butts and Bows. Very dark, dingy, you know, not dirty, but very old, dated kind of place. And that's what I get from this. I just get something that's straight out of the past, and I absolutely love it. It's in your face with leather, as like all the Zoologist fragrances, super strong. I mean, eau de parfum concentration, and they say extract de parfum. Their fragrances are so strong, I can only go 3 sprays, and I'm an 8 to 10 spray guy on almost every fragrance that I wear. These are fantastic. This is, I think, one of the fragrances that Zoologist makes that I would love to have a full bottle of at some point. It's really that good. It really is over the top. So let me give you guys a note breakdown. A super aggressive masculine fragrance. So you got your bergamot at the top note, your black pepper, fir, laurel leaf, neroli, and nutmeg. On the heart notes, you get champaka, I think I'm saying that right, geranium, jasmine, rose, which I love rose-based fragrances. I forgot to mention that. You do get that rose note in here as well. Osmanthus, I think I'm saying that right. And of course, yangling. Resins, cade, cedar, civet, frankincense, leather, vanilla, sandalwood, and patchouli. And after reading those notes, based on my experience, some of the other fragrances that I have smelled in my collection, of the ones listed, I definitely get, after reading it, sometimes you have to read the notes and smell it again to kind of say, okay, I can pinpoint that out, kind of refamiliarize yourself with other fragrances that have those notes in there. But right off the bat, I get that black pepper, I get that neroli, and I get the nutmeg. The heart notes of those, I get the rose, and that's really about it. In the base notes, frankincense, absolutely, and I love frankincense. The leather, the vanilla, and that sandalwood are super apparent. And it is just, this one is a beast, guys. And I encourage you guys, again, to go to the website, read more about it. Check out some of the other reviews. Steven reviewed this over at Red Adolescence. Definitely check out his review. He can give you guys kind of a more, I'd say, more sophisticated review than I can give you. But that's the great thing about, you know, YouTube and being able to watch different people. We express ourselves in different ways, and this is how I express myself with fragrances. Fragrances always are very nostalgic for me, and for whatever reason or another, they're very powerful. And just like any fragrances that I've encountered in the past, they remind me of a certain moment when I remember buying it. The moment where I first smelled it, whether that be on a friend or an ex-girlfriend or a girl or a girlfriend. I'm single at the moment, but or a current girlfriend. It just, like, for instance, Eternity takes me back for women. It takes me back to my junior prom when one of my friends wore that, and the girl I went with. Parallels 360 for women, taking me back to one of my first relationships I had when I was younger, a chick named Michelle. So they're very nostalgic to me. Just like vanilla reminds me of certain, girls that I even went on a date with that I was never even with. Like Curve reminds me of one of my good friends, Ian. And so they all kind of have imprinted on my mind. And it's really strange to me that they're that powerful. And it's like every time I smell those notes or those fragrances, it just reminds me of that moment. And there's something about Zoologist fragrances that always take me somewhere when I smell them. They're that unique. And the cool thing about them is that no matter what fragrance you smell by Zoologist, you can just tell that it is a Zoologist released. They just share that DNA, and if you're not familiar with what that is, it's almost like I'll compare it to, it's like you see, a couple siblings, and you can say, all right, well, they're different, obviously, but you can say, oh yeah, I can see how they're related. They look similar, and that's kind of with these fragrances. There's something in that DNA that just lets you know that, hey, I know that's a Zoologist release. When I got these in the mail, I'm always so excited because I smell the box before I even open them up, and they just radiate right through the box. They're that strong. They're super unique, powerful, and just over-the-top exotic. And if you guys like anything like that, you guys are going to love this brand. So once again, I want to thank Victor for his generosity in sending me these. I look forward to every time they come out with a new release. It's a kind of fragrance that I tend to savor and wear for special occasions. It just really is fantastic. And I'm wearing Midnight in Paris right now, and I kind of wish I would have worn this today because I wore this a couple weeks ago, and Ah, man, it's really good. So, all right, guys, let me know what you guys think. If you have any experience with this fragrance, if you have any questions whatsoever, don't hesitate to ask. I'm always here to help. If you like the content, subscribe to the channel. Check out my second channel, Fragrant Juice. Subscribe to that channel as well. It's going to be a fragrance-only channel. And I thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, and take care.